Hi guys, and welcome to a quick bite with me, Michelle Kyra. I am CEO and founder of Fit Mama, and I'm jumping on today because today, 1st of May, we are in the month of Mental Health Awareness Month, or it could be Mental Wellness Awareness Month. The point of the month is really to throw a bit of a spotlight onto everyone that is suffering from any mental health affliction, condition, and also to recognize some of these smaller things that you and I might pass off as just being day to day things and we could cope with that, and other people are not able to cope with that. So keep your eyes and ears peeled throughout the whole month of May, and you will start to see on your social media channels, your news channels, articles, maybe your LinkedIn profile, you'll see all of these articles coming through that are raising awareness of mental health. And I think if I were you, I would read and educate yourself as much as possible. And also, why don't you share? Share and you understand and you could share that knowledge around. Last thing is, please, please, please support people. Supporting people is a really tough thing to do because you don't know what support they need. So you are maybe going to have to ask the question. And sometimes when you ask someone, how can I help you today? They are never going to tell you, actually, I'm really struggling. So don't assume that someone is absolutely going to say, well, I actually need help. I'm really struggling. I'm totally overwhelmed. I'm really stressing about this. I'm anxious about that. I'm worried about the next thing. These are buzzwords that you're not likely to get from someone who is maybe not able to communicate about their mental health condition, state. And you will actually hear a lot of companies now who will say you can take a mental wellness day off work. So you can call work and just say, today I just want to take a mental wellness day. I'm going to take the day off. And you don't need to ask why at all. You just let that person take that day. Take ownership of how you feel and also try to keep your mind about you to look around and see, who looks to me like I could maybe help them out, aid them in some way. And that could be anything from seeing a new mom, maybe just struggling to get her baby to sleep in a pram, and you could help and say, can I walk with you? Can I help you with the pram? Can I do something for you? And these are the little things that do actually matter to people. So I would very much encourage you to have a look and see what is it that I can raise awareness of myself and also educate myself. And then the next step is how can I help others? And once you have all of these put together, you will find that this month is an extraordinary month of giving and also receiving. Take the view of give, give, get. And that means I'm going to give out. I'm going to help somebody. I'm going to give again. And then karma will do its work to then bring that round to you so that you will receive as well. People will help you out. If you are somebody who is struggling, if you are somebody who really doesn't know what the next step is, has too many choices, has too many decisions to make, is feeling anxious or stressed or worried or concerned, isn't sleeping at night, is really struggling. If you are that person, then my advice is for you, take a second and just think, who in my network do I trust with my life? And that's your first person that you could take a step to to get them to help you with something. And helping you with something could simply be, can we go for a coffee? I just need to talk to someone. If there's nobody immediately that you trust, are you working? Are you at school or college or university? Is there an official support network around you? An official support network would be a human resources team. Is there somebody from human resources that you can approach and say, I just need to talk to someone. I'm a little bit concerned and worried about, and then start your conversation. If that doesn't make any sense to you, then there's another thing you could do to try and give yourself some self-care. There is journaling, and that's where you get a blank piece of paper, a blank notepad, and you just start to write. Offload everything that's in that mind and put it onto paper. Once you've emptied your mind of everything that you're thinking there, you could put it onto paper. You don't have to be worried about somebody reading that. You can destroy that if you really didn't want anybody to have any chance of reading that. Or it gives you a great opportunity to read through what is it I'm really concerned about and how much of what I've written down actually matters today. Does it matter today? And if it doesn't matter today quite so much, then why am I worried about it? I have my own experiences of mental health conditions or ailments. I'm a single mum. I went through a really tough divorce. I had a child, a very, very small child to look after, starting up my business in a foreign country. So I didn't have the tribe network. I didn't have services in my own language locally. I didn't have a lot of money to do very much with anything. I couldn't get counselling, I couldn't do anything like that. So I had situational mental stress, and that means that I was caught in a situation of divorce, or separation, divorce, child custody, being a single mom, starting up a business. That's all situational. So that means that I knew that all of these events would eventually end. They would have an expiry date, they would finish. The divorce would eventually be granted. I would eventually have a property with my child. I would eventually have clients. So I knew that these were situational and that I had to get through these situations the best I possibly could. And one of the things that I recognized years later was that during that really tough period of time, there was something that I did that at the time I didn't realize was a mental health affliction, but I do realize that now, and that was I ignored my mailbox. So I used to walk past my mailbox, never open it, and never look at it because my thought process at the time was very coherent. It was very much a if I open that, that's going to be a bill that I don't have the money to pay right now, so there's no point in me looking at that. I can't be stressing about that. I don't want to add anything more to my basket. I'm not going to stress. So I didn't open my mailbox again, the next week again, the next month again, and eventually it's like, okay, this is too much. Now, that doesn't seem like very much to some people, and some people could have coached me and said, there's nothing dangerous or frightening in that mailbox. Let's open that mailbox together and let's open at least one piece of mail, one letter, one envelope. Let's just see what's in that envelope and we'll take the least scary looking of all of them. So I'm sure somebody could have coached me through. Point is, I didn't tell anybody. I told nobody. Why? Because I didn't want to reveal that to anyone. I didn't want anyone to know that that was what was going on in my life. And I also didn't want someone to make light of that and make it such a trivial thing. It's mail in a mailbox. Just open it. If you can't pay the bill, you can't pay the bill. Don't worry about it. And that's when I realized that everybody has such extreme reactions to and actions to everything in their life that it's impossible for you to say, oh, that's such an easy thing to overcome. Come on, I'll show you. You can't do that. You have to put yourself into the shoes of that person and say, how would I be if I was in that same situation that she is in with all of these same aspects going on? How would I feel? Would I be able to tackle that? And it's very, very much a case of your personality and who you are and how you are is there from the moment you're born. And as you're growing and you're developing, obviously there are some things that impact and might evolve you and change you slightly. But in general, the way that you are born and how you act to things is how it's going to be. So it's often really tough for somebody else, and they shouldn't give necessarily an opinion on somebody else's actions or reactions, but more to be there to coach them and to help them and to say, what can I do for you today that would make this easier for you? How can I help you to overcome these things? What can I do that would add value? And that actually would give a little bit more quality to your response to someone who is maybe struggling. Um, if you're somebody that is confided in, so you're the person who is on the receiving end of hearing someone in a troubling position, the biggest piece of advice I'd give you is keep these open, keep this closed. So, what I mean by that is listen intently to what the person is confiding in you with, and only once they are finished and only once they have given everything that they have in terms of information, do you then start to come back and say, okay, give me a second till I process what you've said. I just want to go through, and probably the best thing you could do is to run through these things again just to say, just to make sure that I've got this right, blah, 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 blah. And then from there, it's buying you a little bit of time to work out how can I help this person, or if I can't help this person, where's the best place that I can go to help this person. Keep your eyes and ears open this month. Any articles that you see that you think are highlighting mental wellness and mental health, please share them on your platforms. Talk about them. Get the information out there. Suicides at all ages are too high. That means that there are people there who are struggling, and we could help these people perhaps by just being simply an ear for them to speak to. Um, so educate yourself as much as you can, share on your platforms, and be willing to talk. Because when people are open to talking, that is when we're going to break down stigmas. That's when we're going to become encouraging for people to open up about things that are going on in their life that we could perhaps help them with. Um, let's see what the month brings. I will put some articles out specifically on my work that I have done with females postpartum. I am not a psychologist, and as a personal trainer, we must know our limits on what we can discuss and talk about in terms of postpartum depression. However, that said, the clients that I have worked with are on the spectrum of baby blues through to postpartum depression. And it's up to somebody like a personal trainer, where you are in really deep contact with a connection with a client, that you are able to recognize, where can I help this client, and where does my responsibilities end, in terms of I am not able to deal with this client, I have to pass them on to the right mental health route. Okay, so I'm going to put out a few articles and into the Fit Mama community, just to see my experiences of working with mums in the postpartum phase, which is really an interesting stage for mums. Have a good month, and if there's anything in particular that you have that you think I would like, please send it through to me. I'm always reading more and more and more. It's my favourite pastime is to read. So send me anything that you have, and I'll be happy to read it. Have a great May, guys.